Hello, this is problem 11 of a 50-part series of problems from Arzoo 1. Identify the R and S configuration in the molecule at the chiral centers. So let's identify the chiral centers. So the chiral center is a carbon which actually is attached to 4 different substituents. And if we look at this structure over here, we do see that this carbon over here has 4 different attachments, one over here, the second over here, the third over here. The fourth is a hydrogen. So let's try to prioritize these attachments based on molecular mass. So if we think about it, oxygen actually has the highest molecular mass, so that gets a priority number 1. Hydrogen actually has the lowest molecular mass, and so hydrogen gets priority number 4. So then the second priority here would be a carbon, right? So if we think about the groups attached to the chiral center over here, we have a carbon over on this side, right? And a carbon attached to this at this substituent as well. So what we see here is that this carbon is attached to a double bonded carbon, which means this carbon here is equivalently attached to 2 carbons. However, this carbon over here is equivalently only attached to 1 carbon. This carbon over here is attached to the oxygen, and this carbon over here is also attached to the oxygen. However, this carbon over here is actually attached to 2 equivalent carbons, and so that gets a higher priority of number 2, and this would be then number 3. Now, if we connect the bond from 1 to 2 to 3, we see that we are actually going in the clockwise direction, and clockwise is actually R, and that's why this carbon over here has an R configuration. Now let's look at the other carbon. Now on the other carbon, which is over here, this carbon also has 4 different groups attached to it, and if we start to prioritize them, so we would see that OH would just get the first priority, and then the second priority would be the carbon, right? And then there's this other carbon as well. So if we think about this carbon's attached to an OH, right? However, this carbon over here also attached to an oxygen and attached to another carbon. And so this straight bond gets a number 2 here, right? And this gets a number 3, and hydrogen actually gets a number 4. And now if we connect the bonds, we do see that we are going in an anti-clockwise direction, and anti-clockwise direction is S. So then this carbon is an S configuration.